What's going on, guys? Kyle Marlette here. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hangout presented by MurphysMagic.com. My name is Kyle Marlette, coming to you from Las Vegas, and I'm really excited to have a person on tonight. I'm a big fan of his. I have seen his all his YouTube videos. His YouTube videos have been seen millions and millions of times and has been seen on countless news shows and talk shows. He's been on Ellen. He's been on basically every television show you can imagine. It's Rich Ferguson. Rich, say hello. Are you there? We lost you. There you are, Rich. There you are. No. Okay, there you
I'm
are.
here.
There we go.
You don't hear me?
How's it going, man?
I see you just fine, man. I'm doing really well. I just run on fumes. I just came
Yeah,
back
now I
from a week
can.
out of
We
town at a
lost you for a
convention
second.
and playing catch up.
Cool, man. Well, where
Say what?
yeah, man. Where you live now? Where are you coming from?
Well, I was down in Los Angeles and Southern California for a week or so, and then I live up in San Luis Obispo. I'm north of Santa Barbara, right on the coast of California.
Oh, sweet. Very cool. Now, for people who are watching who might potentially not know who you are, give us a quick rundown of who you are, where we might have seen you, what type of magic you do, things like that.
Okay, I'm here, so I've been doing it full time for 15 or more years. I produced a lot of random videos for poker and psychology, different business things, and I kind of came in the back door of magic by accident after kind of playing with psychology and body language, doing workshops on just influence, and then dabbling in poker and touring around with Full Tilt Poker. I put out a series of DVDs, kind of related to poker, but not really. And then my magic career blossomed very quickly, and I started traveling all around the world doing corporate events and VIP parties. And I mostly do kind of a little bit of mentalism, a little bit of magic, a little bit of comedy. I don't quite focus on one particular field, quite honestly. I don't really study magic. It sounds so crazy to say that. I love magic to death, but I study people. That's really what it's always been about for me, which is probably why I tend to like more of the raw mentalism side of things. But I love sleight of hand. I have a great appreciation for it, and I practice quite a bit. But the best practice is doing. So I'm more of a doer than a talker. So that's my background in magic. I started very late. As far as who I am, I mean, I love to invent stuff. I'm always dabbling in the industry of different companies and creating props or some sort of viral marketing gimmick for them that involve magic or psychology or pranks. And I stay pretty busy with that. I also produce maybe one video a week for YouTube. Sometimes they're not very elaborate. Sometimes they're very elaborate, and they're videos that also pertain with a little bit of psychology, a little bit of magic, a little bit of humor, and mostly pranks, the prank-related videos. Most of you have had to have seen some of my stuff, even if you didn't know it, on the Today Show, Good Morning America, Live. I've appeared on most major talk shows doing either magic or pranks, and some of the ones to note are probably the ones you never see me, where I'm hidden inside an outfit, grab the person that sits on me. So I've rigged different chairs to look like chairs, but all the arm pieces come apart like a transformer, and I basically just engulf the person and scare the heck out of them. So just some pretty elaborate pranks like that are kind of like a magic trick in a sense. The head drop, so that's kind of the fields I like to play in.
That's awesome, man. Now, one thing I want to talk
Oh,
about, one thing I want to talk
I
about that,
lost
uh,
audio on you. Oh, there you are.
yeah, the connection's a little weird. But one thing I wanted to chat about, because we've never had someone uh, that has accomplished so much in the areas that you have on the Hangout. I wanted to talk about where I feel as though my generation is going with entertainment, which is online and YouTube and places like that. For example, I have a friend who's a comedian, and she's had 5 or 6 HBO specials in her lifetime, and HBO offered her another special, and they offered it to do an on-demand special, which anyone anyone younger than probably 25 has never done an on-demand ever, because like I didn't even know what that was. I had to look it up. So they offered that. They wanted like their creative control. They wanted all these things, and they only offered this amount of money. But then Netflix offered her twice as much money, all creative control, all editing control, and it would live online forever, unlike HBO, where it was just a one-time thing. So I think in the modern generation, entertainment is obviously progressing to online sources. And even YouTube now, I just read an article recently how they're actually encouraging longer videos. It used to be shorter videos, but now they're actually encouraging longer videos and trying to get full-on content and actually webisodes more views and things like that. So I mean, your videos have been seen millions and millions of times. So what is your thought? First of all, let's just start small. What is your thought on just web content in general and how that associates to magic?
It's like we were annoyed by channel surfing and more TV channels and more commercials. We want content when we want it, and I think everyone does. And once you have a taste for, hey, I want to see a magic trick, you Google it, you see it. You're not waiting until 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. You get it when you want, and that's what people want. So yeah, YouTube is definitely puts you in the driver's seat. Netflix puts you in the driver's seat as far as having your content on demand. Now the real trick is it's getting easier and easier for people like you and me to create content and put it on the internet. A lot of it's junk, and it gets filtered through all of us as a group moderation to determine what's good or what's bad. And there's so much out there that you're shuffling through content so much. So life was a lot easier 15 years ago when there was, 15 major networks, and that was about it. When there was a show that was popular, we all knew what it was. If there was a comedy special or a magic special, we all watched it. But at this point, there's probably a few thousand magic videos a day uploaded that are probably decent, and we want to. It's crazy how much content there is, but pile of people in the ocean of magic and trying to get your stuff out there. But to address the on-demand with magic, yeah, it's definitely the future. That magicians that have filmed know doing magic live. Hey, watch this. When you film it, or on YouTube, when you film that, when you watch it back, it's boring. It doesn't work because you as the viewer, watch this thing goes, why is his hand? What's he doing? Oh, he's putting an arm on the table. The mystery isn't as powerful when it's flat. When it's just when you're not physically involved. So I'm seeing a lot of special things to get context to make the magic look better, and it's kind of clever for sure. It's entertainment for sure, but it's not quite what you can do in person. And there's gray area I think that's happening in video right now because of the push to, a lot of teams especially are trying to get subscribers and become famous online, and it's causing, in my opinion, a lot of gray areas in magic. And so it's very interesting, that's for sure. And it's not going to slow down. I mean, it is. I just came back from VidCon last night, the big convention for videos, and met a ton of magicians, a ton of pranksters, and the amount of content, the amount of people getting YouTube channels right now it's unreal. It really is.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I really agree with that. Now, one thing I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts, because I mean, you stated yourself earlier that some of your videos are very basic and some of your videos are very complex and have a lot of things going on. I've seen, it's crazy, a lot of people, and a lot of magicians and a lot of, people are dying to go viral. They're dying to go viral, and they're dying to get, millions of views and, become online famous. It seems like, there's a little bit of a formula when it comes to it, just a little bit. But also, on the other hand, it seems very sporadic and absolutely no formula, because I've seen videos that are crazy well produced, like high camera quality, high everything, that only
Mhm.
get 1,000 views, and then I've seen things that are shot on a really, really crappy old iPhone or like an old cell phone that get millions and millions of views. So in your eyes, what do you think is is there a secret to good getting views, and does it matter if it's well produced? Is it better if it's not well produced? What is your thoughts?
It really depends on what your goal is as a YouTuber and having a channel. There's a short game, there's a long game. If you're doing it sporadically and you really don't care about fun, but if you're someone like Edge or a channel that's almost like a regular series, that are you hello?
No, you're good. No, you're good.
I
Sorry.
think there's a huge sync problem. Is there a big sync problem? Are you hearing
Yeah,
me
there is.
okay?
Yeah, you're good. I'm hearing you
Oh,
perfectly.
okay, okay, good, good, good. Yeah, you went 20, 30 seconds off delay, so I was like, not sure if you were hearing me at all.
You're
But
good.
yeah, you can do stuff with your cell phone, fit in the wrong direction, and it can be something awesome caught on the highway, and it's going to go viral. There's a motorcycle that flipped over or whatever it is. With no production value whatsoever, something can go extremely viral. But if you have a YouTube channel and you're producing something on an ongoing basis, it is better to try to do good content on a regular basis that's higher, at least edited a little bit, not just thrown together. It will help. But you're right. If something's unbelievably polished, you're spending 10 times the budget, 10 times the time for probably so yeah, if you're doing this on a regular basis, really time, and you have another job or whatever it might be, it may not make sense right away. Skit or a magic trick or whatever it is once a month, and you really just want to do it partly because it's just fun. You don't really care about the money. Then yeah, you go balls to the walls and make it look awesome. But for me, I can't spend more than 2 or 3 days on a video. It just makes no sense. I'm only going to make a few $100 on one if they get a few 100,000 views. It just makes no sense at all. People don't realize that, like the video on the beach that said free ice cream, that was days of work. That video won't pay for itself for the next year. That was a tremendous amount of work. 2 cameras, an assistant, building props, spending a day at the beach. It was tremendously complex. Yeah, it does sound better if we were to rig a ship and create a fake pier and get some sharks involved, but that's not practical. That would be tens of thousands of dollars for something that's only going to make about $1,000 or so. So it's a lot different, the game, if you're doing it to actually make money and you're doing it as a business versus if you're doing it for fun. So that said, I mean, it's really hit and miss though. What makes a video viral? If it hits on multiple cylinders, if it kind of has a voyeuristic look, like if you were to see a video and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this, and it feels like something you see looking out your window, or appeals to the masses, or it's just bizarre, I think it can go viral. But I don't really think there is a formula, or I think a lot of really talented YouTubers would be having viral videos one after the other, after the other, after the other.
And is it kind of all about just kind of just trying it and just keep on going and just don't stop? Because like I feel like if you I don't I mean I personally feel like you can't judge it, like if you're trying to get a viral video, or even not even necessarily viral but just hundreds of thousands of views, if you're trying that,
Mm-hmm.
you can't really judge it by, let's say you post 6 videos and you don't get to that point. I mean, it takes a little while to build up a fan base, I would assume, unless you have
Yeah.
a hit right
Mm-hmm.
off the bat.
Yeah, you can have a
I mean, would
hit.
you agree? Or?
You can have a hit before you have a channel that anyone knows about, and you can have a year of experience in putting videos up weekly that only get 10, 20,000 hits, and all of a sudden you got one that's got 600,000 or 3 million because you just happen to hit the right chord and it really offended people or really impressed people, it really made people laugh, or it was just completely fresh and original and wasn't just a copy of someone else's video, which is so common in pranks. It's unreal. I think it's almost worse than magic. And I think that's what a lot of up-and-coming YouTubers do. They watch the internet, they see something and go, oh, that's cool, I'm going to go out and film that too. If you did that in magic, you'd be hung, you know? So in pranks, there's no moderation for the ethics. And so there's a lot of copycatting, and it's very, very difficult to come up with fresh, original content, or at least something that's got a new twist on it. So I try really hard to do that, and I think it gets lost through the cracks because the honest truth is, in the prank world, the viewers want to see reactions, honestly. They don't really care what you do. They really just want to see reactions. And I think it's the same with magic. I don't think they care how difficult the trick is or how much mastery you have. They just want their mind blown. That's it. That's what it comes down to. You know, they just want to be entertained. So, you know, the prank world is, you know, I do kind of a combination of prank and magic. And no pun intended, it's a tricky business because I don't want to reveal any guarded secrets, so I have to moderate comments, which is not fun. I don't want to put too much magic in it because I don't want to give something away that maybe shown it. The other problem with someone like me is I do pranks and magic. If I do a really great prank, the magicians are saying, well, that's stupid, I figured it out. And it's like, well, it's not a magic trick. And if I do a really great magic trick, the people that love pranks are like, well, that's great, but no one got scared to death. And so, you know, there's people battling for what they want, so I have to kind of play both sides of the fence a little bit, but for the most part, it's what I enjoy doing, so that's what I do. And so to go back to what you said a minute ago, yeah, the best way to do it, if someone's interested, is to find out what they like and do it again and again and again, and don't give up, because you will slowly build an audience, and that audience will make your next video more popular, and it just kind of grows from there. And every so often you get lucky and one goes viral, but you can't predict it. The only thing you can control is ongoing content that's good, that appeals to your audience, and that's it, in my opinion.
All right, well, that's really good advice. Now let's kind of transition real quick over to magic. I mean, besides being, you know, a YouTuber and video content, you also are really well known with magic and things like that. You have multiple magic products out on the market. I mean, you have it seems like you have like an interesting way of creating magic. Like it's not necessarily average. Sorry, my cat. Not necessarily average. You know, like magic. So what is your creative process when creating magic?
I just do what is fun. I don't even really think about it too much. Usually it's a means to an end. A client will say, hey, we're having a show, it's a hospital show, it's a big black tie gala. Can you do some magic that involves like the medical industry? So you think, okay, I don't know, what can I do? Well, I'll put on a robe and a stethoscope, and to do mind reading, I'll put the stethoscope to one person to the next, and you just think of what will create a package that audience will enjoy, and especially the client will appreciate and look back on and go, wow, he really put a show together for us. So I make a lot of my shows tailored, and I have for a long time. I've always had kind of a business background, and that's what I do. I don't really care what tricks I do. I don't care if they're really difficult or really simple. I just wing it, and the process is, again, I think I put magic to the side a little bit and think, what's the end goal? Okay, I need to work in this product or this message or these 3 props that relate to their industry, and then I just come backwards. I'm like, all right, what can I do with this thing? I got tweezers. Okay, I know what I'll do. She'll hold the card with tweezers. I'll have my assistant, scissors, and they hand the scissors, and then I clip the card, and I'm doing it very surgical-like, you know. And so that might be an act I put together for some medical company dinner. And then the very next week, I'm somewhere else doing a show for, you know, a plumbing company, and all the tricks revolve around plumbing or whatever it might be. So I kind of have to reinvent the wheel quite a bit, and it's really more about their needs and their product, their message, than it is the magic. And I think if there was a bit of advice to give any up-and-coming magicians that are really skilled, but they haven't taken it to the payment world, where you're out there doing it for a client, getting paid, the responsibilities shift a little bit, because when you're doing it for fun, well, now you can focus on magic for sure. But when you're doing it for a client, unless it's like a theater show, sometimes it's really more about the client's needs, and so you have to put the magic and your ego aside a little bit and think, all right, well, I know I'm great, but it doesn't matter because all they need is something that gets this message across, or they just need an icebreaker during the cocktail party. They could have had a comedian, they could have had firewalkers, they could have had anybody. They're not necessarily in love with magic, but your job is to make them fall in love with magic. Remember how good of a job you did. So it's a long-winded answer, but it's hard to answer because you asked, what's the creative process for creating the magic I do, and it's really driven by my clients, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not, and it's also driven by just what I enjoy. I love playing with rings and small objects and everyday object type stuff, but not so much bar bets. So a mixture of psychology and sleight of hand, but a lot of times it's just a means to an end, though. It really is.
Sure. So, from what you were saying, does that mean, do I take it that you do a lot more corporate work than any other thing, or is that what you prefer to do? Well, I mean, what type of work do you normally try to do?
I like hiring, like, kind of behind the scenes parties. So like celebrity parties, corporate events, or VIP suites where, first of all, it can afford to have a really great caterer, really well-known musicians, magicians, things like that. So I look like a pro because there's nothing worse than when you have a huge resume, you're pretty well known outside of magic because of other corporate things I've been involved with, or now pranks and YouTube and everything else. It's kind of weird to show up to a company party in the dirt, getting really nice leather shoes dirty, it's hot out, you're sweating, your cards are sticking and warping, and they got really low budget vendors all around you, and here you are, it doesn't fit, So sometimes the fit it could be awkward. So for me, for the last probably 10 years, I've primarily only marketed toward kind of the higher caliber type event, not because I think I'm better than other magicians, just because it fits my lifestyle and the kind of thing I like to do. Yeah, I don't want to do it, but I mean, it's not that I don't like people. I love kids. I love people of all types. I walk around and do magic downtown all the time. I'm always screwing around with people, doing pranks. But when it comes down to being paid to do a show, and I'm booked 6 months to 2 years down the road, I take that booking extremely serious, and I'm not going to do it for a few $100. I'm just not going to do it. It's going to be a hiring party. But that hiring party, I have found, lends itself to me dressing well, putting the effort and time into building props that really sell well to that event. I'm not going to do it if I'm making $800, but if I'm making a couple thousand or more, I can spend several $100s and have giveaways and make printed custom material for the props and things like that. So the budget lends itself to a better show for them too, and so it's win-win,
Sure, that makes sense. So, I mean, you've done, I was actually kind of excited about asking you this question. You've done a lot of pranks. Some of them are very scary pranks, and you've done magic and some, serious magic that can mess with people's minds and stuff. What is probably the craziest thing that has happened to you, as in, like, something gone horribly wrong, something messes up, someone hits you in the face, you scared them, like, give us some stories.
As far as pranks or magic or both, just anything?
Whatever good stories you got.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a pretty cool cat. I mean, I do put my foot in my mouth quite a bit when I perform because it's more about comedy and wittiness, and I just roll with the punches. But because of that, I don't have a set act, and it's not scripted word for word and trick by trick to music. It really opens the door to trouble because I kind of am a very nice, polite, professional smartass as I work. And I'll be at a high-end VIP party with a lot of really well-known business owners and celebrities, and I will just slap people around like they're my brother or sisters, and they love it because I've entered into a certain group, and once you go through that door, anything goes. The boots come off, and you're allowed to mess with them that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of free-flowing. I get in trouble a lot, and I've never really been in a situation where I've been mean to somebody and had to apologize. but I've been in situations where somebody was so unbelievably defensive that they took it wrong. And like, for instance, I walked up to a table at a party. It was a investment group of people, and I walked up to the table, and I don't even know what I was going to do. All I remember saying to the guy was, I was going to do some mind reading, and he was looking at me very like put out or scared, or something was like off about him. And I looked at him and I said, "Don't worry, I've got as if I've got this under control, or it's going to be fun." And he stood up and caused a huge scene. He goes, "You know what? Don't you tell me to worry. I'm not worried. I can kick your ass." And he got really, really aggressive because I said, "Don't worry." And he took it as,
And you didn't even do the trick yet, right?
"Don't worry about it." I didn't do anything yet. I just introduced myself to the table. Oh, defend just the words I said. That was a really rare situation. I diffused it well, but I ended up walking away and saying, "You know what? I got people over here that want to see some magic. Good luck to you, man." And I left with a group of people at that table who were probably scratching their heads, wondering what the heck just happened. My guess is he was a little bit intoxicated, but his fuse was very short. And magic, as you all know, sometimes is uncomfortable to people because they don't know what to do with it. And every so often, you're going to run into someone that has a preconceived notion that you're going to mess with them, lie to him, cheat them. It might be against their religion. I mean, it could be a variety of things, but they might react in a really negative way that's not fair to you, and you didn't even do anything. Another story that was pretty funny was a prank. Yeah. I was doing a trick where I had a third arm. So this arm was fake right here holding a cup. This arm was real. But they both looked real. I asked people for direction. Meanwhile, I would touch them on the back, and they would look around like, "What was that?" And it was hilarious. Well, I tapped one guy on the back, and he started swimming. He was like, "Don't you steal my wallet?" And he just completely went crazy, thinking that I was trying to mug him when I had two cameras, and I very quickly said, "Hey, it's a prank. It's okay. I was just messing with you. It's just humor." I said, "Look, it's a farm. There's cameramen here. It's for a TV show." He didn't care. He already blew his gasket. He already made it that this was horrible and offensive. He is from the, I think he said the Bronx or something like that. He said, "You don't touch people. You don't try to steal their wallets." And he kept just ranting and ranting and ranting. And no matter how hard I tried to calm him down and say, "Listen, man, this is just a silly prank. I've done it to 100 people today. It's super funny, super harmless." He didn't want to hear it, and he actually called the police on top of it all. Even though we explained it all, he just had to make a point.
Did you stick around for the cops?
Right. And every 1 out of 1,000 people. I'm sorry?
Did you stick around for the police? Or?
What did you say? No, it doesn't matter. He was going to call the cops. We ended up having a few unfun words. We left and continued doing the prank. And then maybe 20 to 30 minutes later, we ran into him again at a different block in town. He came up and started ranting again. "I called the police. You should be doing that." So I never stuck around for the police. And I don't know if he really did, but he was out of control. I'll tell you that, But it's rare, man. I mean, I've been doing magic full time for over 15 years. I've been doing pranks. I've got hundreds of videos. I've done several on other channels, and some involve really scaring the crap out of people. And I honestly have only had maybe on one hand I can count the people that were really upset. And so that's pretty good. Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Cool, man. So what is your process? I mean, what's some good advice for creating videos? I mean, because I kind of searched through. I've seen a lot of your videos, and I searched through them again earlier, and it kind of seems like there's like train of thought behind them. Like they all kind of fit the same theme, but they also are kind of sporadic in what you're doing and how you're doing. So what for you, as far as it comes to prank videos, what do you think is a good prank video? What makes it a good prank video?
In magic, there's sleight of hand and stage and grand illusion and all that, and within that there's the really mysterious and scary side of magic, and then there's the funny and comical side and different personalities in between. The same thing goes with pranks. For me specifically, I always try to introduce a little bit of psychology or a little bit of a message, like, you know, what would you do in this situation? Kind of like Dateline investigation style, or a little bit of magic or a little bit of humor. In all of my pranks, I prefer if there's a payoff. You know, I don't want to just, you know, go up and smash someone on their car and go, ha ha, I gotcha, I smashed. And I think there's a fine line in pranking right now where people think the more extreme it is, the more in trouble you get, and the more cops you piss off, the better the prank. And honestly, it's really short-term thinking, because your channel's never going to blossom. You'll never get media exposure. You're never going to get media support. You're never going to get on an actual TV show as far as a live interview on the Tonight Show or the Today Show or anything like that, because they don't want to deal with anyone who's got that kind of attitude. And so I'm seeing a lot of that happening in pranks right now. And I will say that you can go really extreme and do something, maybe even a prank on the cops, as long as at the end when one pissed. Well, two things. One, they're still pissed. Two, you haven't done what is your responsibility as a prankster, which is you have to tell them, and you have to get their permission to use the footage. That's a requirement, because if you're not, you're going to get strikes against your account, you're going to be taken down, you're going to get sued, you're going to go out of business. It's just a sad fact, and a lot of up-and-coming YouTubers don't realize you can't just go out there and do whatever you want. You actually have to have a plan, and you're responsible for anything that's damaged. You have to. You might get away with one or two, but if you're going to do it for real, you're going to do one or two a week, and you're going to try to really get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, absolutely it's not going to happen. You're going to be just a person to public harassment, because you're going to get shut down. Hello? I think I lost you. Well, I'll keep talking in case, go ahead. But it looks like I lost moderator.
No,
oh, okay. Yeah, your face went away. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. So I hope that answers it. I mean, in my case, like I said, my formula is always people smiling at the end and leave them stoked. Leave kind of feeling like, dude, you got me, that was awesome. Because if they're left going, dude, don't ever touch me again, then what have you accomplished? You haven't made a friend, you haven't made anyone smile.
Sure. Yeah. Cool, man. That's really good advice. So what's next for you? Like, what's coming up? Where can people find you? Are you doing any shows? I know we had one comment asking if you're going to be doing any shows in the central United States. Is that what it was? Yeah, I think that's what it was, in the central. So what's next? I mean, do you have any? Where can we find you? Where can we find your videos? Things like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing much more video production. I'm working with collaborations with some pretty big hitters out there: Howie Mandel, Jack Bale, and others. I'm not actually quite at the point where I can talk about it. We're very close. In weeks, I can talk about a 40-episode series I'm doing with a couple guys. It's pretty awesome. I'm very excited about a new magic app that's coming out here this next month. And it's going to be half magic, half prank, and it's going to allow you to do a tremendous amount of things with your phone. And it lets you do predictions, it lets you do mind reading, it lets you finagle your way around and get away with stuff on the fly. It's pretty sweet. It actually takes over the search engine, takes over the voice engine. It actually lets, like if you have an iPhone, Siri will give you the results of everything that you're creating during the trick or conversation. And it's gonna be pretty badass. I'll be honest, and I'm super excited about it. That's been something that's been fun in the works for a few months, and I even made a YouTube video as a test, and it wasn't even a functional app. It was really just a test, and it did really well. A lot of the comments were, "How the hell this happened?" And most of the comments were really bad, like, "This is bullshit," and it's all actors. And it really was offensive as someone who's a full-time magician to hear all of it saying it's fake actors. They were paid to do it. It's like, what's the point of that if you can actually build some technique or skill? It's so funny. But is super exciting that's coming out. I have some prank shirts coming out that I'll be doing some deals with. But for the most part, I'm about once a week I'm producing a video for YouTube. If not for my channel, for someone else's channel, like I'm doing a project in the next couple weeks for BuzzFeed, and like I said, I'm doing some stuff later this year with Howie Mandel. So it's nonstop, but as far as where people can see me or what to expect, quite a bit, and a lot more of the same. I mean, I have so many ideas for some fun projects as far as products go, and so many things on the plate with TV and just my career that's going to need help. I'll take the truth. But right now, but it's stuff in the pipeline this year, and a whole lot more YouTube stuff. I'm going to try to continue to do one major prank a week, and I'm super excited about it. I got some really fun, elaborate pranks coming that have a touch of magic in it, as usual. And we talked about that viral video formula, and you can't really ever just predict when it'll happen. But I do have a video coming out in the next few weeks that I'll be shocked if it doesn't do really well. It's one of those videos that it goes viral. It might not get any views, who knows? But I won't be shocked. It's definitely out of the videos I've done, it's going to be 2 or 3 for sure.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I mean, that was some killer advice, and like I said, we have never really had anybody on here who has gotten to the extent that you have in the genres that you are, and it's really awesome, really good advice. So I really appreciate you hanging out with us, man.
Thank you so much for having me, guys, and I'm glad to hang out with you. So I hope that answered some people's questions, and hope it was fun to listen to. I hope that the connection was good, because you were coming in a little choppy and stuff, but hopefully they heard it all. I talk really fast, and I move fast. I was trying to stay still, trying.
Cool, thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, cool.